The reason why we're conducting this meeting right now is because of the fact that many of you have actually been asking us questions regarding what are the factors, okay, what are the things that you majorly look into before taking up a trade. Okay. Now, first, let me just mention to you what are the two kinds of trades, or what are majorly the two kinds of trading styles that we personally adopt. Okay. So trading styles, rather than calling it trading styles, the two categories I would say. So first and foremost, most of you actually are already familiar with the concept of going for a buy when the price is picking up, or going for a sell when the price is falling down. So you go for a buy when the price is picking up, or you actually kind of go for a sell when the price is basically falling down. Okay. So this is the most common idea, or this is the most common understanding that people often have. Okay. So what do you mean by non-directional then? Or what do you mean by non-directional trading then? So many a times, friends, like in the markets, we actually have a limitation of predicting the direction. So if you ask me, how well can I predict the direction of the markets? So whether the markets are going to move up or the markets are kind of going to fall down. So how often, or what are the odds that my prediction is going to be right regarding the direction of the markets? I would just tell you it's just like 50-50. So if I perform, if I predict, if I try to analyze, or if I predict, okay, 10 trades taking place, mostly like 5 out of 10 are going to be right. My prediction is going to be right in 5 out of 10 times. And the rest 5 out of 10 times, my prediction is basically going to go wrong. So that is the same thing with almost every single person. I just wanted to tell you, any person who's trading the markets, if you're predicting the markets, more or less like 5 out of 10 times it is going to fail. The rest 5 out of 10 are the ones that is actually going to work. Now, what matters more is how you kind of actually trade those 5 winning trades. Okay. So it is not about winning 9 out of 10 times. Rather, it is about winning 5 out of 10 and still being able to manage to become profitable. So when we are trading directional, majority of the times you're going to trade breakouts. Now, I understand that majority of you who are attending this meeting right now would be completely fresh to the concept of what a breakout is. So let me just mention that first. So any particular stock during some phase of its cycle is going to stay pretty much confined within a range. So any particular stock it could be. So it could be a stock, it could be a currency, it could be a commodity, what not. Okay. So the price would be kind of more or less picking up, falling down, picking up, falling down, and the process will be more or less being repeated over and over again. So this particular phase, or this particular span of time when the price is more or less confined within a range, is what we refer to as consolidation. So do you think, is there any use in you predicting the direction when the markets are kind of consolidating? So do you actually think there is any particular use in you kind of trying to predict the direction when the markets are kind of more or less consolidating? That is when we kind of actually have like a zigzag movement. So do you think there is any point in you predicting the direction? The obvious answer is no. So this phase of consolidation are the times when we usually do non-directional strategies. So non-directional strategies meaning we try to predict the range. So earlier I was talking about predicting the direction. Earlier I was kind of mentioning about the fact that we're trying to predict the direction in which the market is going to move. So the market is going to move up. So we predict, okay, the market is going to move up. It's a bullish move. We predict the direction to be on the upside. Now, if we have a feeling, okay, the market is going to fall down. If the market is going to fall down, if we have a view like that, okay, we have a bearish view, we predict the market is going to drop down. So this is what we refer to as directional kind of trading. And the other kind of trading is what we refer to as non-directional. So the other kind is the one that I have actually shown over here. When the market is kind of more or less pretty much within a range. Okay, market is not moving up, market is not falling down. It is kind of more or less staying confined. It is kind of more or less staying confined within a range without picking up rapidly or without falling down rapidly. More or less looks like a dead stock. So this phase is what we refer to as consolidation. Let me just repeat. This is what we refer to as a consolidation phase, or a phase of time the market is kind of staying pretty much range bound. Now, after some time, okay, so obviously, so no particular stock shall continue this kind of range bound movement forever. So there is going to be one point in time when the price, so for example, let's talk about the case of Corona. Okay. So during the COVID lockdown, all of us have been confined to stay within our house. So during the Corona lockdown, all of us were kind of confined to stay within our house, within our family. We were not kind of supposed to go outside our house. But what happens? After the lockdown, gradually we can get out. So gradually we are getting free. Everywhere else apart from Kerala, the number of cases are kind of decreasing rapidly. Okay, so more or less I could say that the number of cases almost all over India, so almost 70% of the cases are just coming from Kerala itself. Okay, so gradually things are coming back to normal and you can get out. So you were confined for some duration of time. In fact, you guys were confined for a span of like 1 year. But after that, what happens? No, you're free. You're free to move again. So same way in the case of stocks as well. I'll show you some examples. I'll show you some examples of the trades that we have taken recently. This I'll show you how you could actually identify these kind of opportunities on our mobile application too. Okay, so once again, definitely every particular stock will actually be having a phase of time when the price is more or less confined within a particular range, and at some point of time the price will come out of this particular range, or at some point of time the price will actually kind of break out of this particular consolidation and come out of the range. So this phenomenon is what we refer to as a breakout. So in simple words, for every particular stock, after a span of time of staying pretty much range bound or staying pretty much confined within a particular range, there could be a time when it manages to just break out of it, or there could be a time when it could just come out of it with all the frustration, and then it could drive for a further upside or a further downside. So now some of you must be thinking, okay, a breakout means okay, it should happen only on the positive side. That is, a stock price should pick up when a breakout is happening. So there is another kind of breakout, or a negative side breakout, what we also refer to as a breakdown. Okay, so there is also a phenomenon. Okay, the price was kind of more or less staying pretty much confined for some duration of time, and after a while, now what happens is the price breaks down on the negative side, or we kind of actually say the price undertakes a negative side breakout. So if this phenomenon happens, there is a tendency that the price or the stock price could fall down further. Okay, there could be a tendency, there could be a chance that after a negative side breakout or a breakdown, the price could end up falling down further. So that could be the driving factor for a fresh negative side fall. And there is definitely shorting opportunity over there. So I suppose that you guys already understand what short selling means. If you don't understand what short selling means, in simple words, short selling is the phenomenon where you sell something first and you buy it back at a lower price. So if you have a feeling, okay, the price of the stock is going to fall down, obviously you're not going to buy it because your feeling is price is going to fall down. So in such scenarios, you may consider shorting it. Shorting means you sell something first and then you buy it back once the price comes down. Okay. Now, see, this meeting has been conducted uh, with some suggestions from my team, saying that there's a lot of you out here who exactly don't understand the meaning of breakout as such. Okay, you really don't understand what breakout is. So many people, okay, have heard about it, but you really don't know what a breakout is. Okay, so within those limits, I'll be kind of conducting this meeting. So with your questions, I'll definitely be answering. But let me just finish off the topics first. But after that, I'll take your questions for sure. Okay. So just quickly share my screen. Apollo Hospital yesterday breakout. Okay, we'll see everything. Don't worry, Ratish. So I'm just quickly sharing a different screen of mine, and I suppose that you too can see the same. Okay, I suppose the screen is visible to all of you. Now, I'll just show you this thing happening with Nifty. Okay, so I suppose most of you out here understand what Nifty is. Nifty is the index of National Stock Exchange. So we'll start off with Nifty itself. So let's have a look at Nifty in the 1 day time frame. Okay, let's quickly have a look at Nifty in the 1 day time frame. So if I kind of have a look at the charts, okay, so if I'm just having a look at the charts, then I realize out for myself that, okay, there has been a span, okay, there has been a period of time when the price was more or less staying pretty much confined over here, like this. Okay, so I could definitely say, yeah, there has been a phase of time, or there has been a period when the price of Nifty has been staying pretty much confined within this range where it was just picking up, falling down, picking up, falling down, picking up, falling down. And the process was more or less being repeated over and over again. But do you think this will last forever? Or do you think that, okay, forever, that is for the next few weeks or the next few months, is going to continue for long? Okay. So I just wanted to tell you, normally, or if you are a normal human being, none of us could exactly say, okay, for how long this is going to stay. So you need to be superhuman. If you need to predict, okay, for how long this consolidation is going to stay. But more or less, I just kind of wanted to tell you, every single stock undergoes a consolidation at some phase of its life cycle or at some phase of the cycle. Okay. Now, after this particular consolidation, okay, after this particular consolidation, usually we see that the volumes gradually start picking up. So what I mean by the volumes gradually start picking up, just a second. I'll take your questions, guys, just wait. Okay. So after a phase of time of some continuous consolidation for a while, we usually see, okay, gradually the price is picking up, and along with that, the volumes also start building up. Okay. So often it is after this phenomenon that we see a good breakout or a pakka or a proper breakout. Just a second, I'm just not able to use my screen properly. I'll just mark it down. So for example, let's have a look at this case. The price has been in the phase of consolidation. The price has been kind of staying pretty much confined within this range for some duration of time. Now, after that, somehow the price has actually managed to pick up. Okay, the price has actually kind of managed to pick up, or the price has basically managed to come out of this particular range. So that we see over here. So that we kind of actually see over here. The price managed to come out of this range. So what could that indicate to us? So what could this phenomenon indicate to us? The price has finally managed to come out of the range. So do you think, okay, do you think, how many of you think that there is a chance or there is a tendency that the price could move up? So just try to make an answer. So what do you feel about it? Okay, the price has been in a phase of consolidation. So after a pretty good duration of time, finally, the stock has managed, or the index has basically managed to come out of the particular range. So now what do you expect to happen, or what do you expect to take place after this? So we talked about a breakout. So we kind of actually talked about, okay, a breakout is happening. So what do you expect to happen if it is coming out of the range? What do you expect to happen? Just try to answer. So naturally, yes, if the breakout is happening, you will actually expect the price to move up further. Okay. So you will kind of actually more or less expect some sort of an upside move to come in when there is a positive side breakout taking place. And we actually see that over here too. So we kind of more or less see that phenomenon taking place over here too. So a positive side breakout happened, the price managed to pick up. Then once again, so after this phase, after this particular, just a second, guys. So after this particular phase, where the price was staying confined and a breakout taking place, again we actually saw the prices more or less finding or undertaking some sort of a consolidation over here also. So do we have a breakout happening over here also? Do we have a breakout taking place? Yeah. So more or less, yes, Chinmay, yes, yeah, great. So Chinmay, like as you have mentioned, more or less we kind of see another kind of a breakout or another breakout taking place over here as well. So I just wanted to convey to you that, okay, so more or less this breakouts, consolidation, all these things are a part of the cycle of any single stock. So it's not like, okay, only this stock is going to consolidate or this stock is going to take a breakout. Every single stock will actually undergo or involve all these kind of phases. So here we have another breakout happening, and you see, okay, after this breakout taking place, we see some sort of a pretty swift move in Nifty to the upside. So it was a pretty sharp and it was a pretty quick move that has actually taken place. And it was definitely after this phase of consolidation that all this move has happened. Now I'll just quickly show you some more other cases. So I hope with that you'll understand what, and it provides a good opportunity in the stock exactly. So the times when breakouts take place, so those are the times when majorly the good moves actually come in. So L&T is a stock, is another stock that undertook a breakout. In fact, we personally have a position over here. Okay. So for example, if you ask me the case of L&T, the breakout can be classified like this. Just a second, some of our friends are just waiting. So if you just quickly have a look at L&T, or if we kind of consider the case of L&T, the breakout is more or less like this. Like this was what we have traded that time. So you kind of actually see our entry was at 1613. Okay. So you kind of actually see the price was kind of actually kind of finding some sort of a rejection over here, trying to pick up, facing a rejection over here, falling down, picking up, facing a rejection over here. And finally, the price managed to pierce above that particular level and it actually undertook a breakout. Okay, after some time, inverted head and shoulder, yeah, you can call it an inverted head and shoulder. Yes, perfect. So after consolidating for some time or after finding a rejection over here, not consolidating in this case, after finding a rejection over here, after finding a resistance over here, the price managed to give a breakout and that was definitely an entry opportunity for some further upside move. But as you can see over here, after our entry, the price actually dropped. Once again, it came down. It played around over here for a while. Now, once again, it has started a further upside move. Now, I'll just quickly show you some of the trades, some other trades also. So L&T was one winning trade. We're still having this position. I'll show you one losing trade now. I'll show you Tata Motors and Tata Steel were two trades that we had taken at the same time, breakouts itself. So in the case of Tata Motors, the price was actually kind of finding a resistance over here. So in fact, this is not a breakout that took place. And if you look further or look carefully in this trade, it more or less looks like a mistake that we have taken from our side. Okay, this trade looks more or less like a mistake that we personally have done from our side. Okay, so the price was actually picking up, finding some sort of a resistance over here. So I was kind of, it was like pretty much foolish from my side to take out an entry. So see, I have long-term investment in Tata Motors. That is a different thing. So this is what I'm referring over here is just based on the trades. Okay, the positional trades, not investments. I'm speaking investments. I have long-term investments in Tata Motors. So over here, I kind of actually took up position. Okay, but after that, okay, all this news, all these things came in, and Tata Motors kind of just dropped down like that. So in fact, Tata Motors trade is running at a loss of around 12% now. Okay, so don't expect all your breakout trades to be winning. It can be moving against you also. Okay, friends, I'll take all your questions. So let me just finish whatever I want to convey. After that, I'll make sure that each one of your questions are answered. So I'll conduct this meeting max to max by till 8:35. After that, I'll take your questions. Okay. So please cooperate with me till then. Now, Tata Steel was another trade that we had taken. So it's purely breakouts itself once again. So if you have a look at Tata Steel, Talking about this particular trade in Tata Steel, I'll tell you how or where we took it. So this was the opportunity. So we kind of actually found, okay, the stock price was more or less staying confined over here, and we took our entry over here. Okay, this was the point where we took our buy. So once again over here also there was some news and all that made the price drop out. But then further, after a while the price picked up. Okay, so right now it is trading over here. This trade is actually kind of up by like around 17%. Okay, so more or less, breakouts is one of the easiest way for you to kind of actually get started with. I'm not talking about any intraday trade. What I'm speaking over here is regarding some swing positions, position trades, nothing related to intraday trades. Okay. So Tata Steel. Now let's talk about some other places where you can actually check out for some opportunities or some ideas of breakouts. So Bajaj Finance. So these like all these are kind of actually positions that we personally have taken. So Bajaj Finance, Tata Steel, and all is still being held on. So Bajaj Finance is another trade that we had taken. So Bajaj Finance, the entry that we kind of actually took was over here. So this was the entry that we took. So you kind of more or less see that, okay, the price was picking up, facing a rejection over here, picking up, facing a rejection over here. And at that point of time, when the price managed to break above this particular level, okay, at that particular point of time, when the price actually managed to break above that particular level, okay, we kind of actually considered, okay, fine, yeah, so this could more or less be a possibility for us to go for a positional trade or a long side position, considering the fact that, okay, it has kind of come out of a significant resistance level, it has come out of a range that it has just broke out. So we went for a buy, and still right now also we are holding on to this position in Bajaj Finance. Okay, so you can see, so you can actually, I hope you have been able to understand that every single time the price more or less comes out of a consolidation, the kind of moves that is often accompanied with the same is more or less pretty much good. Okay, so Bajaj Finance. So right now, this is where we took an entry. So after that, okay, the price was picking up. Then from the last 2 weeks, the price has been picking up pretty good. Ravindra, what is the success ratio of breakout long trade versus short trades? Okay, so short trades, in pretty simple words, like last 1 year, we have not taken any shorts. We have only been taking long positions. In index, we take both, but swing, we are taking only long. I'll take all your questions. Just let me just finish the concept. Okay. So we're not taking any short trades on these stocks. We're taking only long side positions on stocks. Now in index, we take both long and short. Okay. Just a second. Take your questions. How long to hold it? So as long as the trend is that you can hold it. So this Bajaj Finance and all, I'm holding it from some 3 months now. Okay, Tata Steel, I'm holding it from 2 months. Tata Motors and Tata Steel, I took it together. See, I'll take your question. Just wait. Let me finish. Okay. Now, something else I just wanted to show you. Let me just show you. Okay. So now, I just wanted to say the markets have been pretty much favorable. Okay. So please don't think, please don't think that so right now, like you would see that majority of the trades that we have personally taken, we're kind of actually winning. Okay. However, I just wanted to tell you, in general, when it kind of comes to swing positions, if you perform 10 trades, is more or less like just 5 out of 10 that is going to win. But right now, the good thing that has actually worked in our favor is the fact that markets have actually been so kind. Markets have actually been so trending. It has been keeping on rising. It has been keeping on picking. So those were some factors that have actually kind of affected really well. So don't expect always the same thing to happen. So in fact, just expect that, okay, half of your trades are going to fail. But just think how you'll manage to be a successful trader, even if half of your trades are going to end up failing. Now, some other positions that we have recently taken on Marico. Okay, so Marico, this particular stock, we actually entered over here. So it's been almost like 2 weeks. Sorry, it's been almost like 1 week now. So we not one, two, okay, 2 weeks. So we personally felt, okay, the price is actually kind of undertaking a breakout. So this particular day beginning, you see this big red candle. So that day beginning, we actually felt, okay, it is undertaking a breakout. We went for a buy, but you see, okay, after we went for a buy, the price dropped. Okay, again it picked, again it dropped, again it picked. So right now, more or less, it is at our entry. It is actually down by almost like 1% from our entry. More or less, it's kind of staying dead, not much of a move. But we personally expect some sort of a breakout to come in over here, Marico. So we are still holding on to this position with a feeling that okay, some sort of a good breakout could potentially come pretty soon. Okay, now I'll just quickly show you like the latest position that we have added. It is in ITC. I think I'll show you. So ITC was taken by my company. So I'll just quickly share it. What is your stop loss in Marico position? Okay, so when it kind of comes to Marico position, it's not a swing trade or an intraday trade. It is a positional trade. Okay, so this is also a part. So this is what we personally consider as a stop. Okay, based on price, but you see it's kind of pretty far apart. Okay, so stop is kind of more or less like it's kind of like a 10%, 8% stop. Okay. But even if the price is kind of approaching the stop, if we have a cushion, we'll definitely hold on because we personally have like around 15 positions running at any particular point of time. So we really don't put, we kind of actually don't really put all our money into 2 or 3 swings. So we more or less have like 10 to 15 positions running at any point of time. Okay. I'll just quickly show like some of the swing trades that we personally have taken. The latest swing trade, and it was actually on ITC. Okay, the latest position that we had actually taken was on this pretty contrary, like controversial stock, ITC. So as far as ITC is concerned, okay, so we have already added, so we'll be adding more. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you, so in the markets, especially when we are kind of taking positional trades, okay, especially when we are kind of actually taking positional trades based on breakouts, we kind of actually don't have this habit of putting all the money in a single go. Okay, so just think that you're starting a business. So I would always request each one of you to do the same only. So let's say that always consider trading to be a business. Okay, always consider trading to be a business. Now let's kind of say that okay, you feel okay, some good business opportunity is there, and let's say that you have 1 crore to invest in this particular business. So do you think that you're going to put in the entire 1 crore on day one of starting the business? So will you do that? So will you kind of actually do that? So do you think that you'll kind of put the entire 1 crore on day one of starting your business? So naturally, no. Most of us won't do that. So see, some of you would be like, okay, I'm starting off a business with a 10 lakh capital. So it doesn't matter for me to put in the entire 10 lakh. Then you'll be like, okay, then I'll take loan, then I'll do that. No, don't do that way. So what we personally do is like whenever we're taking a positional trade, more or less for a single entry itself. Now one thing is that like the capital that we kind of actually deploy is also kind of considerably. I'm not telling you it is the biggest, but it is considerably big. So we kind of actually phase out our entry in like 2 to 3 parts. That's also there. So we won't be like putting all our money like today. Okay, I'm going to punch all my trades. No, we don't do that way. So it will be kind of phased out in maybe 2 or 3 parts that we take out our entries. So we have started adding ITC for a positional trade. Just tell you our expectation or our anticipation. So ITC, so this chart is shared by my team, and this trade was also initiated by my team. So ITC has been kind of in a phase of consolidation within this particular triangular channel for a while. So what we are anticipating or what we are kind of expecting right now is that if the price is capable of coming out, so we are already in, the price is capable of coming out of this particular range, that could drive some sort of a good move on ITC on the upside. Now, I know ITC is a stock that usually doesn't give much of a movement. It is more or less staying flat. It is kind of a stock that kind of more or less stays dead. However, this is one stock that we personally have added to our portfolio as a defensive position. It's a defensive position in the sense, see, like over the last 1 year, we have been in a very good bullish market. And so we personally kind of considered ourselves to be in a point in time where we had to kind of diversify some of the profits that we had generated into some defensive stocks in the sense stocks whose business cycle is not much affected with what is happening in the economy. Okay, so for example, ITC, Marico. So more or less these companies in the FMCG sector, the good thing about them is that, so do you think that you guys are kind of going to stop eating biscuits or stop eating food if something bad is going to happen? Let's say that your salary is being cut by 30%. You may actually kind of consider spending lesser amount on luxury items. You may kind of actually consider spending lesser amount on unnecessary items. So, but you never want kind of actually consider cutting down on the necessities. Okay, so more or less, FMCG sector is one particular sector that we kind of consider pretty defensive. Or this is one particular sector where we kind of actually invest to kind of actually diversify our portfolio with a defensive stance. A portion of our portfolio in defensive stocks that really doesn't fluctuate much. The slow and steady rise is what we want. Now, definitely. So, for example, so many people kind of tell bad about ITC, but see, ITC has not been moving for a very long duration of time. I accept the fact, but let me just show you something called Reliance. So, is Reliance good or ITC good? So which gives more movement? So, which stock gives more movement? So, which is the stock that gives more movement? Okay, naturally, Reliance is the one that is moving crazy. Reliance has been picking up pretty much. Okay, has been really bullish. For quite some time, Reliance has been pretty much bullish. But let me just quickly show you the phase where Reliance has been ITC's bad buy. Okay, not bad buy, but then let me just show you some phase of time when Reliance was kind of more or less staying pretty much confined. Okay, so you kind of actually have a look at the span of time between 2010. Okay, you kind of actually have a look at Reliance. Okay, you kind of actually have a look at Reliance from the phase of time from like almost 2009 to 2017. Okay, from 2009 to 2017, Reliance has been more or less staying there. Okay, so definitely there has been a phase of time. Many other stocks are also kind of staying pretty much confined or staying pretty much range bound or has been in a phase of consolidation for some good duration of time. Okay, so I personally consider that okay, ITC right now definitely. So there are many. So ITC, if you don't know, ITC Indian Tobacco Company, it's a pretty well diversified company, and apart from the fact that even though like very less proportion of their revenue comes from the sale of cigarettes, major almost 70% of their profit share comes from cigarette sales. So they have actually been facing lot of hardships, to be pretty frank. So they have been. So how many of you smoke over here? So how many of you smoke over here? Okay. So have you kind of actually heard about? Okay, you must have actually seen the price of cigarettes rising, the cost of cigarettes rising. Any idea why the cost of cigarettes are rising? Any idea why the cost of cigarettes are rising? Taxes. Perfect. So you know that this cost of cigarettes has been actually kind of rising because of the taxes keeping on increasing. Okay, so all these things has actually kind of negatively affected the company. Why? Because if the tax is rising, naturally the sales will decrease. And in fact, when these kind of branded cigarettes, all these things, the taxes rise, there's a lot of local brands that is coming in, or there are a lot of smuggled items. There are a lot of smuggled commodities coming into the markets that is being sold without any tax and all. Okay, so all these things, all these GST, all these things has been kind of pretty much negative for ITC. But right now, see, my perception is pretty simple. People are becoming more and more health conscious, so demand is falling. True, that is also right. But what I personally feel is there is a possibility that ITC could actually split. So from a cigarette retailer, the company could more or less be split into two parts, as a cigarette company plus the normal FMCG. So I personally feel like for ITC, in fact, at the general body meeting of ITC also, their director said, so we should consider something like this because the share prices has not been changing, or the share nothing good is happening for the investors. So I personally feel something like that could potentially come in over the at least over the coming years, sending next week or next month. But I personally feel some sort of thing like that could happen. Okay, and we could expect. So this breakout, I'm not expecting after years. We are expecting within at least the coming month. Okay, some sort of a breakout on ITC. And yes, so even if it is dropping down, more or less it would drop maybe till 190, 200 range. ITC finds a good support over there. So that is the rationale why we have taken a position in ITC. So I hope I have been able to convey to you in simple words what a breakout is. So in very simple words, once again, to conclude, a breakout is nothing else but a phenomenon where the stock price manages to come out of a range. Okay, so breakout is nothing else but a phenomenon where at some point of time, after a phase of pretty good consolidation, the stock price managed to come out of the range. So it could be on the upside, it could also be on the downside. Okay, so that could actually drive some pretty fast moves. Now, I guess I can actually take some questions from your end. So you guys could actually ask your questions. Okay, I'll just start from the back. Apollo, yes, sure. Price going up out of range is breakout. Price going down, yes, it is breakdown. Uh, and it provides, okay, yes, Chinmaya. What are the time frame one needs to consider for checking up? It depends on the kind of trade you're planning to take. If you're planning for an intraday position and all, maybe the 5 or 15 minutes time frame would help. So I would say present markets are not suitable for trading intraday breakouts in stocks. I personally can't. We're personally doing only what do you say, swings. Okay, in equities. Now inverted. Okay, key point for confirmation of breakout. See, there are multiple factors that is actually beyond the scope of explaining in today's meeting. But some of the things that we actually look into are open interest. We have a look at volume. We have a look at the open interest. We have a look at some RSI confluences. Okay, so multiple things are there. Okay, so is there any way to track? Yeah, you can. So in fact, I don't know how many of you know, like we personally have a mobile application. So if you could actually download our mobile app from Play Store, you can have a look at the, what do you call it? You can actually definitely have a look at all these kind of stocks, the breakdowns of the trades that we take. We actually provide it on our mobile app. You can have a look over there. Can you please explain in Hindi? Satyam, I'm sorry. I'll be very uncomfortable in that. Every time breakouts does not make higher high. You're true. Sometimes false breakout also. How to identify and actual. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you, see, false breakouts are the ones where you lose money. So if you can actually identify the stocks trades where you're going to lose money, then you're going to have 10 out of 10 winning trades. That's not possible. But as I mentioned, there are some things like volume. There are things like open interest. All these things you can look into as confluence to take a better opportunity, to identify a good opportunity. So, okay. So, Ravindra, as I mentioned, naturally, when the markets are bearish, you know that the markets fall at a very sharp rate. And also, checking out, so I personally have found out that, okay, so trading stocks that is bearish is much more easier than trading stocks that is bullish. However, for the last 1 year, we have been taking only bullish side swings. We personally have not been taking any bearish side trades. Okay, in index we take, but in stocks we have not been taking any negative side positions. Key point for confirmation, we personally consider OI to be more significant. Okay, how to hold it post a breakout. So that's what I said. If you feel the momentum is still continuing, you can keep on holding it. For example, right now we are holding Tata Steel, we are holding Bajaj Finance, we are holding Marico L&T. So DLF, okay, DLF we bought. Okay, DLF is one trade that is running at a loss. So DLF I'll show you. So DLF, so we personally kind of actually considered this to be a breakout. So we personally felt, okay, some sort of a good buying pressure is coming in, and we went for a buy in DLF. Okay, so we had actually bought DLF over here, okay, at these levels. Now after that the price picked up, then again it fell down. Now it is picking up. Okay, now it is like more or less like 4 or 5% is down from our entry. That means our position is running at a loss of around 5%, 4% is something. So now since you guys have actually kind of asked me where you could kind of actually have or see some sort of a breakdown of trades. So we have a mobile application and it's called Live Long Wealth itself. You can just search on Play Store. And there is a section called as trade ideas. Okay. So when it kind of comes to the trade idea section, we kind of actually give the detailed breakdown of the trades that we take. Okay. So we had just started off with this mobile app. So this L&D trade idea and all, the time when we publish the trade itself, it is there. Okay. So it is actually over here. The time when we took the trade itself, it is actually there. Now, DLF trade. So the reason, the detailed explanation, the fundamental side, like see DLF and all is a positional trade, long term. So you can see the charts at the time when we took the trade. I don't know what is being shown on the screen. Let me just see. Okay. So you can basically see, yeah. So you can more or less kind of actually see the reason, the rationale why the trade has been taken, all these stuff. Okay. So my friend is making me hungry. So he's having dinner, I guess. Okay. So no problem. I just hit your video. So same way, like so for example, Tata Steel. So same way, like the trades, why we take the trades, the rations for the trades, we actually share it out over here. So you could also download our app and just try using it. So we are just still working. So this app is still in the beta version. So it's not the full version yet, but maybe if you can find it useful, that's pretty great. Okay. Now, what time frame we should use for intraday breakouts? Intraday breakouts, see, I'm bad person to say that because I'm not doing intraday breakouts in stocks. So intraday breakouts in Bank Nifty we use the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, sure. How to overcome fake breakout? That's what I said. You can have a set of confluences that you look into to avoid a number of false breakouts, but to reduce the number of false breakouts, but you can't avoid it. That's the truth. Okay, I answered that. How can we relate the volume with the breakout and what are the significance of volume color candle with breakout? See, there is kind of no significance. See, the color of the candle is actually the color of the bar that is getting formed. Nothing to do. How to pick stocks for swing and positional? Sharon, like we have a portfolio of stocks that we regularly track. So there is no cherry picking in stocks. That is what we believe. However, stocks that has pretty good long built up are the ones that we watch out for. Okay. Can I know how you set your stop loss after entering the trade as well as trading stop loss after increasing 2 to 3%? 2 to 3% and not trading stop loss we don't do. So in fact, on average, the risk that we take in a position is around 5%. And so once like there's kind of something like a 7-8% move, that is when we think about trading. I'll just give you an example. So L&T trade is up by almost 7% now. So as I mentioned to you that entry was 1613. Okay. So this was our entry 1613, 1614 average. Okay. So now the trade stock today it was trading at 1700, 1710 something. Okay. Yeah. So the price actually made a high of almost 1710. So what we decided is right now this trade is actually up by like 7%. If the price comes down, we'll book the profits. We'll kind of come out of the trade by booking a profit of like 2%. We won't let this trade turn into a losing position now, or we won't actually let this trade kind of come into the bearish territory now. At any point of time, the price falls down, we'll book the profits of 2% and come out. Okay, so it depends. It depends on the trade, depends on the stock. Many factors are there. It's not a straightforward answer. It's discretionary in simple words. So do you enter more quantity on the side based on your understanding? Not exactly, Abhilash. So once we feel okay, the momentum has started, we'll add more quantities if we are in the right direction. True. Nitesh, yeah. So false breakouts, as I mentioned, see there are multiple things that can be looked into. So for example, let's talk about the L&T trade itself. So just have a look at the buying volume that was taking place when the bullish side, when the resistance levels were getting broken. So we clearly see, okay, this is some major hands that is coming in the share. So we were pretty confident in the trade. So in fact, if you are following us anywhere on social media, so I guess so that particular point of time charts and rationals have been shared. I'll just take it, or it'll be better. Okay, so this July 18 was the entry. Okay, just have a look at the consolidation that was taking place. Just have a look at the volume that kind of actually got formed. Okay, so in comparison to the other days, just have a look. We kind of had some pretty good volume activity taking place. When the breakout was actually occurring, we had some considerable volume coming in. Okay, so we understand that okay, some strong hands are coming in. So more or less, apart from that, we were kind of also having a look at some other confluences, which is actually fit beyond the scope of this meeting. Okay, swing position breakout. Swing means you carry forward the position for a couple of days or weeks. Option selling significantly more profitable. It depends on how you do it, how aggressively you do it. Okay. Name of the mobile app, just search Live Long Wealth. You'll get it. Live Long Wealth. Do you trade in cash, futures, or options? I personally trade in cash, futures, and options. Three I trade. But see, the thing is, I personally don't do all the things together. Okay, so I personally have a team who handles each department. Like we have a team. So futures and options, I have a team. Now equities, swing and long term, I have a team. So forex, I have a different thing, different team. So only thing that I do alone is crude. Do you think we are in a bubble? See, we have always been in a bubble. Okay, so see, it's a part of the markets. So there's a crash, there's a bull run, there's a bearish market. Everything is a part of the cycle. Okay, Nifty, Bank Nifty. Okay. Can you see which stock we can enter now for swing? So right now, if you kind of actually ask me, so right now the latest position that we have added is Marico and ITC. Okay, ITC we started adding yesterday only. So Marico is looking ready. Is kind of more or less looking pretty favorable for a positive side breakout, approaching a resistance level. Now the other position that we have added last day is ITC, but don't take this as an investment suggestion. As I mentioned to you, I personally have like almost 10 to 15 positions running. Okay, so even if one trade goes against me, nothing will happen to me. Okay, so don't put all your money in a single trade. But Marico and so ITC we started adding, expecting a positive side trend and breakout. Okay, okay, Atharva. For OI, do you check a day-to-day OI change or week-to-week, day-to-day? Okay, I kind of actually see the volume OI change activity. I also have a look at the built-up data. Okay, the short-term OI, the short-term outlook as well as the mid-term outlook. Both I see. How can we decide a trade for short-term or long-term? So that depends on your trading style. If you're an intraday trader, then you're taking short-term trades. Not short-term, you're taking intraday trades. Do you have it in Apple Store? We have it in Apple Store, but a new version is coming out. So in fact, guys, like the app that is there on Play Store right now is the beta version. But since you asked, I mentioned you can use that as an option. How to know when to exit the swing? Good question. Once you understand, your view has changed. I'll explain it with respect to Tata Steel. So when it kind of comes to this particular trade, so we firstly had an idea to exit from this particular trade. So right now also, we personally have an idea to come out of this particular trade. I guess my screen is being shared. Yeah. So we personally have an idea to come out of this particular trade. At any point now, the price manages to drop below this level. So we feel okay, it's finding a support over here. At any point, the price manages to drop below this particular level, we'll come out of this trade. So you have a look at the levels, you figure out which could be the points from where you understand your view was on. So in simple words, come out of the trade when you understand or when you realize your view has gone wrong. Can you share the name of the app name, please? Live Long Wealth. Any investment opportunity? So yeah, so we are kind of into see majorly we are into wealth management. So we are into asset restructuring, portfolio rebalancing, all these things. So right now, if you're talking about a physical asset, right now the asset that we are kind of actually holding, or we are the latest acquisition that is happening is in an agricultural theme park, one of its kind agricultural theme park. So it's kind of like a 30 crore fund that we are raising. So minimum ticket size for investing is like 12 lakh rupees. You can become an equity shareholder. If you're talking about any kind of investing in mutual funds, portfolios or something, yeah, definitely we do that as well. Okay, like profit sharing. See, profit sharing. See, honestly, like guys, like profit sharing, all these things won't work out over here. Okay, so in India markets, there's a lot of regulations, all these things happening. So there's nothing possible like that. So maybe you can actually ask some. I mean, there are people on Telegram, all these things who say, okay, we're doing this profit sharing, that profit sharing, but just check. Just ask them for their track record. Just ask them for their track record. So see, if somebody has a good track record, let me just tell you, nobody wants to take a 1 lakh rupee or 2 lakh rupee for profit sharing, because you get, so right now the PMS that we offer, the minimum ticket size is 50 lakhs as prescribed by SEBI. So there's a lot of people who are ready to invest 50 lakhs if you have a good track record. Okay, so there is nothing like profit sharing and all. So all those things, basically amateurs are the ones who does that. Okay. Any suggestion for commodity trading? You get started with index trading, then you get into commodity. If you can trade index, you can trade commodity. Okay. Does L&T have any breakdown? See, L&T, I'm still holding on to it, man. So L&T, I'm bullish on it. Why? Because see, more or less, see, I have actually entered it over here. Okay. So right now, I'm actually holding on to it. So I don't, doesn't look like it is having a breakdown. Okay. So any other questions, friends? So it was like pretty fun interacting with you guys. So I highly appreciate that you have taken your time out to spend with ourselves. Okay. So we highly appreciate that you have taken your time out. So any last questions, just feel free to ask. Else I guess we could wind up for the day. Any last questions you would like to share? Okay. So yeah, I guess then we'll wind up for the day. Thank you. Thank you all. So uh, have pleasant trades. Bank Nifty operator question mark. I didn't get your question. So could you repeat that question? So, okay, fine. So thank you. I guess I have been able to attend all the questions. So if I have missed out any question, please pardon me. So whatever I have come in front of me, I have answered it. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great day. How much money to deploy when entering swings? So I would say that good thing would be, so I'm not asking you to deploy 1 lakh or 2 lakh or 10 lakh, nothing I'm asking. So what I'm asking you is just make sure that you have at least 4 positions. So let's say that you have a capital of 10,000. So in that case, you can allocate your capital in such a manner. You can more or less allocate like 2,500 rupees per trade. So that means like that is the way I do. I'm not telling you this is the best practice or something. That is how we do. So if we have X rupees, we kind of have X by 10 to X by 15 positions deployed at any point of time. So there could be some trades that we are really confident about. So in that particular trade, we'll be having a slightly greater allocation. But more or less, we'll be having like 10 to 15 positions running parallelly at any particular point of time. So someone who's just getting started, I would say this capital is small. You have like 5 positions. You split your capital into 5 or 4, and then take your position. Don't put all your eggs in a single basket. Same way, don't put all your money in a single trade. Okay, that will be useful, Atharva. I hope you get me. So yes, thank you. That was an amazing question. That was an amazing question. So I understand that. Okay, you have been thinking pretty much deep. Thank you all. Thank you.